Hey everybody, it's Sha Blackburn here, the Loon Witch. I want to welcome you to June 2021, our Tarot Chat and Munch. So today is June 4th, and the weather is beautiful here in southeastern Massachusetts. So if you get an opportunity, I hope you will go out and enjoy it. We're going to talk about the Suit of Cups today. So far, we have hit on the major arcana, the Suit of Swords, the Suit of Rods, and here we are in the West at the Suit of Cups. I am going to switch over like I typically do and just do a screen share with all the cups for you to take a look at. Again, the tarot deck that I use for teaching, and it's also the deck that I read primarily with, is the Hanson Roberts Tarot. You can get it through Amazon, you can get it through Barnes and Noble. A lot of times they have them in the little gift round things. I don't know what they call them. But you know, where you get your little garden gnome and things like that, the little mini pocket stuff. You can get those, the smaller version like I have here. And then, of course, if you decide that you want to take a tarot class with me, I teach as a boot camp style or as a 5-week style. And this will get you up and reading. It's obviously a lot more information than what I cover in a 30-minute lunchtime gathering. So, and the deck is included in the cost of the class. So there you go. And if you've taken the class before, then you know how intense it can be. If you have never taken the class before, but really are interested in learning the tarot, I have a boot camp style, which is 2 days class coming up at the end of June. It's June 26th and 27th. I'll be teaching in the capital region of New York State, but you are able to take the class via Zoom. You just need to let me know ASAP so I can get the deck out to you. And that's pretty much it. So let's pop over to do the screen share so we can talk about the Suit of Cups. And here we go. So I don't know if I show up. I'm just going to grab my little face and bring it down here. But here we are with the Suit of Cups. So the Suit of Cups, the aspect of the cups is emotions and relationships. So it's all about matters of the heart. But don't think of it in terms of only romantic relationships. It really covers all emotions and all relationships. And I feel like personally, when I'm doing readings for people and I get to the part of the reading when we're talking about relationships, people gravitate right immediately towards their love life. And sometimes our most poignant relationships don't have anything to do with the people that we are sexually active with or hanging out with. A lot of times it can be parents, it can be friends, it can be children. There's a lot of different relationships that we have. So don't rule those things out. It's what our emotions are telling us. The direction for the Suit of Cups is the West, the season is the autumn, and the element is water. Sorry about that. I'm drinking cherry limeade sparkling ice. It's really yummy. Your Suit of Cups is also known as the Suit of Hearts. It can be chalices, it can be bowls, it can be any vessel that holds a liquid, okay? Because it just depends on the deck that you're using. And if you're not sure, when you're looking at your deck, if you're really struggling, then obviously look in the pamphlet that came with the deck, and the artist or the author will tell you exactly what they were thinking. But you can certainly send me a quick message and ask me, out of all these suits, which one do you think is water? Stranger questions have happened. Again, I also want to encourage you to, and I'm sorry, I'm bad about housekeeping, but I want to encourage you to join the Tarot Study Group Circle on the Enchanted Forest Spiritual Wellness Center Mighty Network. This is going to give you past recordings. It's going to give you insight into what other people are experiencing with the tarot. And eventually I will post more things on there than I have. We're just kind of getting things up and running here in excuse me, 2021. So typical of all of the suits, when you look at the ace, which is number 1, through the 10, you can start to see a story developing. There was once 1, then there are 2, then there's a lot of happiness, then there's a lot of questioning, then there's some sadness, but then we sort of bring ourselves back together and allow ourselves to get distracted again, move away from the things that no longer serve us, open ourselves for blessings, and achieve our wish. So the 1 through the 10, those are the action cards within this suit. These are the cards that tell the story. The suit, the court cards, your page, your knight, your queen, and your king, these are the players in the story. So when you're creating your fantasy play, because you know you're gonna want to do that, you want to look at this story of relationships through the eyes of the page, someone who's very youthful, through the eyes of the knight, someone who is a little bit older, into from teens into mid-20s, a little bit impetuous, a little bit fearless, right? From the adult female perspective, and from the adult male perspective. And it will tell you a lot of different aspects of the story when you're looking at this through the eyes of a child. If this was the story of a romantic relationship, you could say, once I was alone, but my heart was overflowing, and I was looking for the right mate, that special someone to come into my life. And they did. And we clicked. And there was that meeting of minds and meeting of eyes and meeting of heart. And as we clicked, there was much rejoicing between us and among our families. And we were so happy and so blessed to be together. And this was truly just like a magical romance. And that was on a cruise that we were on. So then we got back, you know, he went his way and I went mine. And we agreed that we would stay in touch. But there was a lot of questioning, wondering, is this right? Can I take on a long distance relationship on top of everything else? And I decided that it was too stressful, that I had done too much, stretched myself too thin, just couldn't stand not being in his presence and not knowing who he was talking to and what he was doing. And after some time went by, we got back together. We reunited and decided that we wanted to be together and we wanted to have our fulfillment of our highest hopes of family and children and long life and growing old together. And so we got creative. We looked at all of our options and decided what we were going to do and how we were best going to be able to move forward together. And I felt really distracted and overwhelmed by this. Was I really going to leave everything that I've ever known and move far away to the other side of the country just to be with him? Or would he do that to be with me? And in the end, we decided that we would just both leave behind us the things that no longer served us, and we would move not from one coast to another, but to the center of the country. And by making that decision, we knew our prayers had been answered, and we felt like this was so right. Nothing could be better than this opportunity, and our wishes were fulfilled. So this kind of story is often told from the perspective of the knight, because the knight is your idealist, right? He's the dreamer. Everything is wonderful and romantic and light and airy, and it's going to work out. And I have such hope and optimism. You know, if you were to tell a story from a child's perspective, it could be a story of their best friend that they met at summer camp, and it could still be kind of the same story, you know, except obviously not leaving your families and moving to be with that person. But the initial, once I was alone and then I met this great person and they just sort of fulfilled everything that I was looking for. We had to separate and I was very sad and regretful of leaving them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When we start looking at the queen and the queen tends to be very psychic, and both of the higher court cards, both the queen and the king, they tend to be a little kind of into themselves. you know, not in the way that the swords are into themselves so that they're aloof decision makers who are very like stern and firm, but this is more like I just if it makes me feel good, if it makes me look good, if it makes me gives me the right appearance type of attitude, you know, that's where they're self-absorbed. Does this dress make me look fat? Does this crown make me look important? Those kind of things is where their heads are at. And they're all about feelings. How do I feel about this? If I don't feel the right way, I'm not going to continue on. I'm not, you can't make me get into a long-term commitment if I don't feel connected to it. However, know that with the court cards, you can sway them. They're swayed by emotions. So you can kind of guilt them, bribe them. There's a lot of things that you can do to your cups that you can't do to um, the other suits because they're not really as susceptible to it. So that's all very interesting stuff. Um, I'm wondering how you feel about this. A lot of times, cups and pentacles are the easiest for people to connect with and live their story through. So I am going to encourage you, typical homework, I want to encourage you now to sit with your cups, lay them out ace through 10, put your court cards on the bottom of that, and then take a look and see, you know, what is the story that's unfolding for you. If you had an amazing romantic relationship in your life, tell the story of that relationship, excuse me, through the suit of the cups. And take a look and see, you know, maybe the page of cups is your dog or your cat that you're very close to, that is your most important family member. You know, if I were to tell the story of the relationship with my dog and I would tell it through the eyes of the page, because pages, while pages represent messengers, pages also represent naivety and very young children. So when you're looking at the suit of cups and you're looking at that page, you can see it's very youthful, it's very naive, it's very innocent, and very emotional. So where dogs are much more dependent on interaction, social interaction, human interaction, they would tend to be more of the page of cups than a cat. A cat would be more of the page of swords because cats are very independent. I mean, if you ask me, I think cats are all like kings of swords, very aloof. They'll only come around when they need something. But for the suit of cups, your animal friends, your pets would be looking at you through the eyes of that page. Maybe you want to tell the story of you and your parent, you and your mom, how your mom sees you. That story could be the relationship between you and your mother could be told through the eyes of the queen. Relationship with you and your father could be told through the eyes of the king. And these can be good therapeutic exercises for you to sort of examine those relationships. Now that we have 3 suits under our belt of the minor arcana, I want you to start thinking about putting them all together. And if you were going to tell the relationship story using the suit of cups, but you were going to tell the relationship of you and your boss, take a look and see like who's your boss? Is your boss like the king of rods? Is your boss the king of swords or the queen of swords and the queen of rods? Take a look at those court cards. We haven't gotten to the pentacles yet, so that'll be next month. But take a look at those court cards and really see, you know, who do you think of those court cards represents your boss the most? Who do you think represents your parent the most? You know, your mother or your father? And who do you think represents your significant other the most? And take a look and then try to shift that energy and tell the story of the suit of cups through the perspective of the queen of rods or the queen of swords. What do you think the queen of swords would have to say about this emotional stuff? Would she be on board? Do you think that she's capable of a deep and passionate love like this? Or do you think that she needs to remain independent, and sovereign without an affection for people. So those are my thoughts on the suit. I'm looking for the button that says stop sharing. Here I am back again. So thanks for joining me. I have no idea how long I've been recording, but it's probably been a good 15 or 20 minutes now. Think about your homework and take care. Until next month, we're going to work on the suit of pentacles, and then we will be done with all of the suits. So when we get into the month of August, we're going to start looking at types of readings and how to put those cards together and do some readings. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Be well.